And then, hey! Alright, welcome back to Deer Valley Homestead with me, Andy. Today we are sorting out our rabbits for the winter. We are down to 7. The last of the kits have been sold off and a couple made their way into the freezer as well. It gets pretty cold here and that's not too much of a problem, but we do need to do a few things to really look after this lot. Last winter we got down to -15. We have our 4 usual rabbits in here and one is missing, and that is Diablo. Diablo is in quarantine. She's been there for nearly a month. I'm still not entirely sure what happened to her. I saw her one morning and she had just a tiny little red patch in her eye, and I was like, okay, I'll keep an eye on that. And by the afternoon her eye was up here, and by the time I got back from the feed shop the next day, the feed shop also sells medicine, it's like a double storage, whatever you want to call it, then her eye was already massive, and I nearly took the decision then. However, she was still eating and she wasn't in any obvious pain, so I took her out of here and I put her as far away as I could from any of the other rabbits at the time. So she's in here, which is the original Stiga house that we built 2.5 years ago now, a long time ago. Anyway, she's been in there and it's been a bit of a roller coaster. Some days she looks better, some days she looks worse, but she does seem to have turned a corner. And the most important thing I would say is that she's never looked like she's in pain, and she's always kept eating. If she starts to be in pain or she stops eating, then I will really have to think about what to do with her. What I need to do is sort out this lot. I have 2 new rabbits. I say new rabbits, they're rabbits that I have kept from this year's breeding, that are going to come in here and be part of next year's breeding stock as well. So we're going to introduce you to those. We need some names for them as well. So if you have some ideas for names, drop them down in the comment section. I'm going to give these guys a quick clean out, but you don't need to see that. So, all right, well, rabbits are clean. I might have clicked in the wrong place there. Anyway, so at the moment we have 4 rabbits in here. Hello, puppy. We have Mr. Grey, who was a buck that we bought to bring in some fresh blood. We have Mama's favorite, who is one of Stiga's babies. She was bred with a rabbit called Johnny, who we don't have anymore. And we have Stiga, who was our original rabbit. She was the first one we got. It was actually a birthday present for me from Bee's mum. And down here we have Mr. Brown, who is another one of Stiga's babies. Who is the dad of Mr. Brown? The dad of Mr. Brown was also Johnny. Has to be. He was the only buck we had at the time. Lymeria is still very much in her training phase. She knows not to hurt any of the animals, but she does occasionally give in to a little chase or something like that. We're friendly with these guys, okay? Friendly. And now we have 2 more ladies who we've kept. We've got 1 brown lady and 1 grey lady. I really wanted to keep one of the black ones. However, they were both boys and we just don't need 3 bucks. So I was pretty sad about that. Maybe at some point, if we replace a buck or lose one, maybe we'll get another black one. I miss Johnny. He was my favorite rabbit. These other 2 rabbits who are going to go in here have been living together for the last 5 months. Since they were born, they were different litters, but at 6 weeks old, when they were weaned, they then started living together, and they've been together ever since, and they haven't had any problems. There's been no fighting. There's been no arguing, scratching, anything like that. Are you behaving, Lymeria? Friend. Friend. Okay? So they've lived together the whole time. So what I'm thinking is, if I give them 2 spaces next to each other, I can just swap out one of the frames and they can stay living together. I don't see why not. Maybe we'll split them up in the future, but for now it's not going to do them any harm, and it means they both get that little bit of extra space. Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll put Mr. Brown up, and the reason for that is that when you put new rabbits into a rabbit hutch, they tend to be a little bit messier. These guys are all fairly clean. I didn't actually have to clean Mr. Grey and Mama's favorite. I did have to clean these 2 today. But the new ones are more likely to poop in the wrong place. Hey! You nearly killed the puppy, huh? Oh well, one more water bowl to clean. You're okay. You missed her by about that much, but she didn't even jump. She has no reaction to things like that. So, yeah, let's move him up. And let's get this all sorted with fresh hay, food, and water. Do you know, I don't know if I even told you the story of why it's empty. Oh, I did tell you the story of why it's empty. So anyway, this top cage on the left was where Diablo got sick. And then we isolated her. So, I cleaned it out at the time, obviously, and I sprayed it with vinegar, and then I rinsed it again, and now it's been empty for nearly a month. And the reason for that is I just didn't know how long anything could live in there. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But after cleaning it with vinegar and leaving it for a month, I feel like it's pretty safe to put some rabbits back in there. Nobody else got sick, so I think it was maybe just an abscess. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, Mr. Brown, we've got a new house for you. You ready? These are big rabbits, and that's why I wear the gloves, and that's why I always at least have a hoodie on, because they have sharp claws. And while they are fairly tame, when they decide to kick, you know about it. Go on. There you go, new house. We'll bring you some fresh hay in a minute, okay? I tried these new waterers, or what I thought were going to be the new waterers for the winter. It took 5 minutes and all of the waterers were on the floor upside down, and I think because they're green, maybe they thought they were food or something like that, they started trying to eat them. So these will get used for something, but it's not going to be for the rabbits. For those of you who didn't see the build video, there is one, it's really cool, and about 20,000 people watched it, so I take that as an indication that it was pretty cool. My rabbit hutch is what I call multi-use, so I can just, and I mean it's not perfect, but I can take these slides out. So this one of course is the mesh, and I can get rid of that one, and hopefully I can stick one of these ones in. There's maybe a bit too much hay in there, but it should be okay. Alright, let's go. Are we in? Okay, we're in. And now those two bottom spaces are joined together. So they can move in there and have both sides at the same time. Of course, there's a million things I would change about this rabbit hutch. And it seems pretty likely to me that I'm going to build a new one next year. Don't tell my girlfriend. She doesn't know that plan. I don't have any more of these rabbit houses, I've only got 4 of those. So they're going to have a rabbit tunnel instead, but that'll work just fine. The only problem with these things is they do tend to move them around quite a lot, but you know, that's up to them. I'm going to go find us some new rabbits. This beauty is the daughter of Stiga and Mr. Grey. Hey, she's not quite as tame as some of the others because she's not been handled as much. I've just double checked and she is definitely a lady. Let's get you in here. They actually escaped this morning, these two, so that's why I'm doing this today, along with the weather forecast for tomorrow, which is for about that much snow. And this brown one is the baby of Diablo and, wait a minute, yeah, Diablo and Mr. Brown. So I suppose technically the great-granddaughter of Stiga. Anyway, she's also super beautiful, a bit scared. I do just need to check actually because, hello, let's just double check. Okay, definitely a lady. You can go in there with your housemate. I know. It's actually probably about the same size as the rabbit tractor when they've got 2 together. So that is our 6 rabbits in for the winter. That's job number 1. Job number 2 is getting the water system turned off. So in the summertime, we use drinker nipples. So there's this hose pipe system and it goes through and everyone has their own water nipple drinker. And that's great, but in the winter, it freezes solid, everything just falls apart. The water can is down. All I've done is cut a big hole in the top so that I can fill it up nice and easily. And of course, because it's a black can, it doesn't get any algae or any growth like that. But I have to get rid of this for the winter because when it freezes, it breaks everything. So, you know, I actually have to do that job for everybody in the next few days because the chickens and the pheasants both have cup drinkers. And if I leave those to freeze, of course, they'll all be broken for next year. So while they are super convenient and great for the summer, it's only about 7 months that we're frost free here. So for 5 months of the year, it's no good. These guys all get water bowls and they just get checked twice a day. We actually use these ceramic ones, which I was worried would freeze up and whatnot, but while they do freeze, they don't break, so I call it a win. So what I do for the winter is I put these boards on and they just fit into the doors like so, although that one doesn't fit that door, but you know what I mean. They just fit into the doors like so, and then I stick a cable tie through and that just holds it on there, and it means they still have some air but they don't get like a big wind across them, and that's where the problem would really come from. Yeah, that'll do. You may notice in the background there is a lot more ducks than we used to have. There's now 9 of them, but that's for another video. Alright, that is it. They all have their windproof on. It's like double glazing for rabbits. Now, the only thing I don't like about this is they don't get as much light, but better a little bit less light than being frozen to death. Not that that would really happen, but they're more comfortable this way. I'm gonna go get some water and get some hay and maybe a few pellets if we're feeling like they've all been very good. I have to hide the pellets on top because Lymeria, our puppy, likes to eat rabbit pellets. She eats anything. She even eats the grain. She eats the rabbit pellets, duck pellets. Anything she can get to, she will eat. So, you ready? You only get a small handful because you're overweight. I'm paranoid about checking their eyes now. Every time I feed them, I check both their eyes because we nearly lost Diablo. Where are you guys hiding? Hello? Let's see if we can trick you two into coming for a snack. They're like, no, not interested. I don't want to hear what you have to say, Andy. Hey, pellets. As soon as they realise, then they'll be there. Yeah, you can smell it, can't you? That's hay. Yes, yummy pellets. The other rabbits are getting really annoyed because I'm taking so long to feed them. And they know that normally by now they would have got their food. Mr. Grey already had some hay. Mama's favourite. We need something for you. can sniff and look, but if you eat a rabbit, well, I don't know what will happen, but it won't be good for you, that's for sure. I know. You just want pellets, don't you? Squeeze that in the corner. There's your water. There's water for Mr. Gray. You know, when we got these ceramic bowls, I really wasn't sure if it was a good idea or not. But they've been great. They don't tip them over, they don't play with them. And there's always water left at the end of the day, so see. What did I say? I haven't cut these off yet because it's been about 10 minutes and she's already chewed it off. I need to get my pliers and get these off before they do the next one. Munch, munch, munch. Oh, you're definitely overweight. Should we put you on a winter diet? Hey puppy. Lymeria is feeling left out because I'm giving too much attention to the rabbits. So she's come and sat on me. Are you eating hay or poop? Which one is it, huh? Hay or poop? Oh! Ah. Oh, I'm sorry, Stiga. You got left till last, didn't you? And you should have been first because you're the original. Put this in your house. Hey, out the way. Go on, out the way. There we go. You know, I always put hay in their houses for them, and they always just eat the hay in the houses, even though they have hay on top. Don't you? Huh? But that's okay. That's their choice. Right, you got fresh water, you got hay. You can also have a few pellets. You're going to show off for the camera? Yum, 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 yum. Alright, there we go. That is our rabbits ready for the cold spell. And it's coming tomorrow. It's supposed to be 15-20 centimeters of snow. That's somewhere around 8-9 inches for you American folks in your freedom units. Hey, I just put your food up there. So I suppose the last thing and the most important thing is our new brown and grey rabbits both need names. We don't really have a theme. We don't really have a theme with our rabbit names. We have Johnny, which was for John Deere, but he passed, so that was grass cutter. We have Stiga, which is another brand of grass cutter. And then, hey! I'm trying to take all the pellets. And Mama's favourite is just called that because she was the favourite of Bee's mum. And Mr. Brown is just because he's brown. Mr. Grey is because he's grey. So I don't know. I can't call her Mrs. Grey because, you know, father-daughter. That doesn't work. That is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to drop us a comment down below. Like, what names should we give to those beautiful grey and brown rabbits? And we'll catch you all on the next one. And don't forget, if you haven't watched the rabbit build video, you can watch that here as well.